Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk Sports, where we talk sports all the time. I'm your host, Kevin Zico. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so that we can get these videos out there and that you would guys motivate me more to get some videos out there. Well, anyways, today's topic is not going to be any news or what are the Bears going to do. Today is going to be a little criticism. And Greeny on the Get Up show a few days ago back goes and criticizes the Bears, and this is about the second or third time since the acquiring of Keenan Allen that he goes out on national TV and says that the Bears are going to fail. Well, I know Greeny is never going to be watching this, but if he was, I would say this: Greeny, you are making yourself sound like a hater. You are making yourself sound as if you're regretting your decision of 20 years ago leaving Chicago and becoming a Jets fan. I just need you guys to hear what he says, and then I'll go on and explain my point of view on this.
What I love to see was that the interaction with the other players. You can see that, and we talked to every person that was on that team. At the Senior Bowl, we interviewed them. We interviewed them at the pro day. We talked to those guys at the dinner, and you can certainly see that those players love him and respect him and what he's brought to that program.
Okay, so those are just a lot of words, but at the end of the day. Robert Griffin was on here yesterday with us, and he said something I've been saying for a long time, and it's louder when he says it than when I say it. But the reality is, my biggest concern if I'm Caleb Williams or anyone the Bears are going to draft is that they seem to be in this cycle where they are just not matched up. If there were three most important people, Mike Tannenbaum, and I'm including you and your brethren in this, if there were three people who really matter in a football organization, a general manager, a coach, and a quarterback, it would be nice if you had them all on one cycle, but the Bears never do that. It absolutely impacted Mitchell Trubisky. It absolutely impacted Justin Fields. And here you are with Matt Eberflus sitting there talking about how much everybody enjoyed Caleb Williams at his pro day. But if they're 5-12 next year, he's probably getting fired, and a whole other coaching staff comes in, and they're right back on that hamster wheel. What I'd like to hear him say is, you know what? I just had a great conversation with our management, and I've just signed a new extension, and I'm going to be the coach of the Bears for the foreseeable future, no matter what we do next year, so we can develop a quarterback and not just be desperate to win games. How does that sound, Tannenbaum?
And I'm going to cut it right there because, enough is enough. I know the Bears never get the respect that they needed, and yes, they haven't won a Super Bowl. Yes, they don't develop quarterbacks, but they are the most winning franchise in NFL. They are always a 7-win team, 8-win team, and when they are good, they are dynamite. They are 13 to 12-win team. The problem I'm having here is that if you go back to a week, 2 weeks, all off season before the Bears acquire Keenan Allen, the talk from Greeny is that the Bears will destroy Caleb Williams or whoever they draft because they don't put enough talent around the quarterback. And yes, they have DJ Moore, but who else is there? Well, they go and add 1,000-yard running back. They go and add 1,000-yard wide receiver in Keenan Allen for a fourth-round pick. And then Greeny goes and says this, that the Bears will fail Caleb Williams, not because of the talent on the field, not because this is one of the best all-time a position of a quarterback will come into a draft in this position, coming out of a draft and hitting into a team like this. Not that he's going to fail, but he's going to fail because the Bears will failing him by not extending Matt Eberflus. And then he goes on to say that Matt Eberflus is a lame duck. I don't believe that he is because, look, if he puts up, 30, the offense is going to put up 40 points a game, and Matt Eberflus doesn't, and he gives up 42 points a game, he's going to get fired. But Shane is not going to get fired. Whoever the head coach is coming in is going to have to understand, hey, look, this is a rookie quarterback with a first year, and he, they average 30-some points a game. Shane's our offensive coordinator. Or they might, promote Shane and put him as the head coach, but he is not a lame duck. If the Bears win 7 games or 8 games or 9 games, Matt Eberflus is going to be the coach, and the reason why is because that defense is going to be what it was the last 6 weeks. Was number one in the NFL on defense, turnovers, and points allowed. So, guys, please understand this, that Greeny is just hating. He's just hating because the Jets are not in that position, that he can't believe that the Bears are in the best position. Show me another franchise since the last 20 years, because there can be many that are in the position that the Bears have. Because you want to know another thing they could do? They can also trade number 9 and get back to 5 and 6 and draft Neighbors or Harrison. How could they do that, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you how. They can say, hey, San Diego, look, we know you're rebuilding. We have 9 and next year's second round pick, which is Carolina's, which is going to be in the low 30s to low 40s. And then you can add a 4th or 5th round this year and get into the 5th or the 5th or 6th pick overall and draft Malik Neighbors. Caleb Williams is in the best position a quarterback can dream of coming in. I would believe 9 out of 10 quarterbacks, not in the draft, but on an NFL team, if they have their choice of walking away from a team and joining any team, the Bears have to be on the top of the list of their list. But yet Greeny comes out and says that the Bears will fail Caleb Williams, not because of the coordinator, not because now that they're not going to put enough weapons around Caleb Williams, but now that they're going to destroy Caleb Williams because Matt Eberflus is not getting an extension, and that Matt Eberflus needs to get extended. My point is this. There's a lot going on right now that even if the Bears have that, say they have all intentions of extending Eberflus, there's still the draft going on. There's still the team building a stadium. There's still the 9th pick overall. There's still the July and August cuts and how players just become available. There's a lot to handle right now. You still might want to extend Keenan Allen and DJ Moore before you extend Matt Eberflus right now. I mean, if you was to tell me that the Bears extend Matt Eberflus right now, I would be the most shockest person right now in the NFL. But if Matt Eberflus fails and his defense gives up 40 points a game and Shane's offense scores 30, I will promise you that Shane is going to be the offensive coordinator next year if Matt Eberflus does get fired. If not, he's going to be the head coach. And I don't believe that Matt Eberflus is a lame duck. So please, everyone else is starting to give the Bears props where it's due. I'm not asking to get any more respect and where it doesn't need to be giving, but you can't just sit here and just hate. I mean, if we want to go by what his team does, we can go by, look, they added a 30-some-year-old quarterback that got hurt on the second play of the year, the first pass of the game, and it's because that turf is horrible. And then he goes, and now you got a quarterback coming off an injury, a really hard injury to recover from late into his career, to go with Michael Williams, who gets hurt a lot and is playing on that turf that everyone gets hurt on. I mean, what does the Jets have to show for? And remind you, they're picking behind the Bears, so whatever the Bears are going to do are going to affect him. And he knows that. See, for me, it doesn't sound like Greeny is analyzing or doing his job here. It just sounds like he's pure hating. That no matter what the Bears are going to do, that he's going to criticize them. If they do somehow give up a second-round pick and the 9th pick to draft Marvin Harris or Malik Neighbors, he's going to hate on that too. I love the show of Greeny. I love Greeny as a person, but I mean, this is really shocking. I mean, this hate that's coming from. And then I want you to see what goes on to be said over here by Matt Castle and a few of the boys on Bob Tomalon. Just go ahead and listen to this.
Pretty good. Make sure you extend the general manager as well, because he's actually more important. But I actually agree with you, Greeny, from this standpoint. You know, in the city of Chicago, the expectations are going to be sky high that he needs to be Patrick Mahomes by the end of the preseason. And as Coach Parcells would say, let's not put him in Canton quite yet. What I'm fascinated by is what's going to happen when there's a 3-game losing streak, because there will be bumps in the road. He has incredible talent. I would take him number 1 in a heartbeat, but Greeny has been sacked over 80 times, 32 fumbles. There will be bumps in the road. So I agree with you. If I was management, I'd say Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, Caleb Williams, you guys are tied together for the next 5 years. Don't worry about the bumps in the road this year. Let's make sure we have the right foundation. You can run the ball. You don't have to throw for 4,000 yards. And let him walk before he runs, and that will give this organization the best chance for long-term success.
Tim.
Okay, now in Tannenbaum's situation there, I can understand what he's saying. What he's trying to say is that, look, Caleb Williams doesn't have to come into this team and throw for 4,500 yards, 38 touchdown passes, and run for 400 yards. He doesn't have to score 52 points a game. He can just come in, run the offense, give him some easy passes, throw the ball 20 to 16 times, kind of like they did with Justin Fields, and win defensively. And he does have a point that if you see that Caleb Williams is having a hard time adjusting to the NFL, you can ease him in. But Matt, Matt Hassel is about to bring up, the ex-quarterback of Seattle Seahawks is about to bring up a very good point. Let's take a listen.
All right, listen, I don't know why we're stopping there. Let's get the GM lakefront property, a penthouse on Michigan Avenue. Like, what else do we need to do for the general manager to make his life easier, less stressful, all of that stuff? Guys, this is crazy to me. When you get drafted number 1 overall, you're supposed to be a guy that fixes things. You're supposed to make things better. You're picking number 1 because things have not gone well. It's not been perfect. They are drafting you at that spot, basically saying you are better than everybody else that is leaving college football this year. In fact, you are so good, you are going to change the trajectory of our organization. Like, that's why you go number 1 overall, not because you've orchestrated everything to be perfectly lined up for that player's success, the general manager's success, the head coach's success. Like that's how it's.
Never pay for Wi-Fi again. Instabridge is a free app with.
And listen, I agree with what he's saying. He's saying, listen, you're being picked number 1 overall in the NFL draft for a reason. And I agree with that he does have that talent.
20 million Wi-Fi passwords all over the world. With over 200 million downloads already, don't wait. Download Instabridge today and get Wi-Fi wherever you are,
games,
whenever you want
to be the player you need to be. And I'm fine with that. I'm extremely fine. Let's get back to the video, if we could here.
Largely, my focus is internally on our staff. Success is, let's be honest, is the smiles on their faces and celebrating the wins together. That's successful for me.